You've got a massive week coming up. Champions League starts, Buvey, and then into the game against Arsenal.
Yeah, and I think
6-pointer already. Can I say that? Early to say that?
Yeah,
Can I say a 6-pointer?
Yeah. 100%. It has to be. If it's not, then the Premier League, as we discuss it, isn't as serious as we consider it.
This early, some would argue nothing is a 6-pointer.
We played Man United very early in the season. It must be in October, even September. The 6-1, famous 6-1. That contributed towards us winning our first Premier League title in terms of goal difference and symbolism and all sorts. Arsenal have to go out there and beat us. And the issue for them, we talked about the Champions League. They play on Thursday away in Italy. We have an extra day's rest, and we've got a bigger squad, and we're at home. So I don't know if it's necessarily fair already at the start of the season.
Jack, where do you sit on this, right? Because we've never heard your opinion on this. Buvey and I go back and forth. Buvey believes that symbolically, as much as 3 points, Arsenal must beat Man City. I constantly argue with him and go, Arsenal don't need to beat Man City. A point is a good point away from home for them. Buvey's argument is more. It's almost more spiritual, isn't it? They need to beat you. They need to beat you for what it says as much as 3 points. Yeah. What do you think to that theory?
I would agree with this. I think
with Buvey's theory,
with you, that they don't need to beat them this early on into the season. I would have usually agreed with you. However, I feel like we can see, especially from last season, with everyone using the excuse that they defended, they sat back at the Etihad, they should have won that game, and then you could say that, okay, that's the 3 points that they missed out on winning the league. So I think every single game matters, and especially when you're coming up against a super team in Man City and Haaland and Pep, you have to win every single game, and every game counts. So I feel like Arsenal do have to win this game, and the fact that they haven't won at the Etihad in so many years,
man,
it's a statement.
If they'd beaten us, they would have won the league. That's how big it is.
I think there is a big point. Sorry, go on, John.
Weren't we debating this recently of the playing the away game first and second? And this time round, Arsenal have got the luxury of being away. So if they do get a draw, they've got, when they play you second leg of the season, I mean, they're going to be at home, and that's a massive advantage. So personally, I feel like they can draw, and as long as they look competitive in the game and they get a good result, I don't think a win necessarily wins.
There's something about, though, the mentality shift when you beat the opposing team away from home in their own backyard. No matter what time of year it is, there's a shift. We've felt it. Like I remember Van Persie scoring at City, and you just go, boom.
We lost the league.
We're winning the league. There's games during the season where if you win it, you just, it's happening. We beat Liverpool at Anfield, John O'Shea. We're winning the league. And I think those, like I remember Scholes saying on the overlap, like, all right, maybe if the games were the other way around and they draw first and then win later stages in a season, you have that momentum, you have that shift. And I think Arsenal need to go and get that. Maybe even a good performance there. Yeah. Even if they come away with a draw, but they
have a go.
You know what I mean? City looks scared or something. But I think a big battle in that game is Saliba against Haaland. And
mate.
I don't think Haaland will have
both of them
fun to watch.
Because Haaland, outrageously good, incredible start to the season. If you were to try and find a flaw in Haaland, though, you could argue when he's come up against Gabriel Saliba last year, they had him sewn up. Van Dijk's had him sewn up. He hasn't scored in the Champions League final, Champions League semi-final. Rudiger, Nacho even.
FA Cup final. He needs a final. He needs a cup final moment.
Is this, I mean, the form he's in, even by his own ridiculous standards, the form he's in now is the best form of his life, isn't it?
Rory, he's scored more goals than every other Premier League club. So it goes Man City 11, Erling Haaland 9, and then it's like insert Premier League team on 7.
Is that Man City 11 without Haaland's 9?
Yeah, so Man City have 11 total.
Oh, including Haaland's 9.
And then it's Haaland on 9. Yeah.
Isn't he like one hat-trick away from the second top goal scorer? As in like the second top goal scorer has 3 goals. He's like a hat-trick away from having 3 hat-tricks.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's crazy.
But did you know how crazy that is?
And he hit the post against Brentford. Yeah. So he could have had one.
Hat-trick,
He's a joke.
The genius about the Guardiola is that he can absolutely say to Haaland, you're going to get locked up today, and I'll give Ilkay Gundogan the opportunity to score a goal and nick it 1-0. And he's not afraid to do that. And I think Haaland is completely underrated in the big games when he's actually been tied up by defenders. He brought other players into games. He did it against Arsenal a couple of years ago when Jack Grealish scored. He started that attack. So it almost does. I don't think it matters, weirdly.
Arsenal will miss. So. Arsenal had a very good result against Spurs, and I think they deserve the win. But I felt like they missed Odegaard as well. And I think that will stand out a little bit more in this game because everything goes through him, man. He's so good. I think he's one of the best players in the league. He's my favourite Arsenal player, which is something that's mad at times. But like, he's such a big player. Is there any chance he can be fit for that game, or is it just?
I don't think so.
Definitely out.
Declan Rice is back, right? It's
just
Declan Rice is back for the game. But I don't think Odegaard's going to be back.
No, he's in a boot, mate.
So what would the midfield look like?
The midfield will look
Rice,
like Declan Rice, Thomas Partey,
and Jorginho.
then it.
Jorginho.
I don't think it will be Jorginho again. I think it might be that Wanyeri.
Yeah.
I do. I
He
don't think
looked good when he come on, but they were winning at that point.
Jorginho and Partey aren't meant
Jorginho
to play the
starts
same
the
team.
game was 1,000,000%
I
over
think Jorginho.
Partey.
I think they live Rice.
Over
Him
Partey
deep.
maybe, but
Right.
not
Yeah, you
alongside
could make Rice
Partey.
be the
And then
advance,
Havertz.
like John was
Not
about to say.
alongside Partey. I don't think you can take Havertz out of his front position.
Well, he was doing that against Spurs, wasn't he? He
Well,
dropped deep with Trossard and it was like a
Yeah,
line.
but no, but they play two up front. They're not going to do that again, are they?
Not
Can't play Ethan Nwaneri. He's fantastic for 20 minutes, but you
I
can't
agree,
play him.
he's too young.
It's harsh on the kid.
So would you think they go the same then? Do you think they go Thomas Partey and Jorginho?
You could go Rice further
I
forward.
think Rice goes further forward. Yeah.
Have all three of them,
Yeah.
and you have Rice in that 8 kind of.
Rice,
Yeah,
Partey,
maybe, yeah.
Jorginho. I'm not sure. That doesn't feel like a balanced midfield to me
Does
at all.
feel- it feels a
Is
bit
that
wrong
better
with-
than chucking Nwaneri and
I
sorry?
don't
Yeah,
think
it
so.
is.
I don't think so. I think you need that creative footballer as well. And you see it when you played against Spurs, when Arsenal played against Spurs. Trossard in that midfield is one of the worst performances I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I hated him getting the ball. I hated him tracking.
And
back.
he's a
There was
wicked
no-
player.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
he's
so
being
good.
played out
He's
of
so
position
good. He
because he's a
shouldn't
wicked
be there.
player. Yeah.
Like Foden
So
for
someone
England.
that fits into that position, of course, yeah, he's 17, 18 years old.
Yeah.
17.
I feel like it is unfair to throw him into a big game like that, and to start as well.
It's sink or
Rice.
swim though.
If he gets it wrong, they'll get dominated.
I
honestly,
do
they'll
agree.
get
I
bullied.
do agree with that, Buvey. But I do agree throwing a kid into this fixture is never how I would approach a game. But Odegaard's out. This midfield doesn't win the game. Rice, Partey, Jorginho, they all basically want to play in the same position. Where's the balance? Where's the creativity? Where's the spark?
Can you not give the freedom to Declan Rice?
Declan Rice isn't good enough to be the spark. He isn't the creative midfielder.
But do they need that? Because sometimes when you go to City, you soak it up a little bit, and then you have those, you have your runners in Saka,
the way it
and
could work.
Trossard or
If
whoever
they're
it
going
is.
there for a draw.
No, but you can win playing that way.
Yeah, okay.
We've seen it many times.
You can,
play a little
but if
bit
they're going
deeper
for the draw,
and you just go longer.
yeah, you can win. But if you're going for the draw, if you're happy with the point, those three midfielders, it's a
How do we see
battling
it
deep
going?
midfield. Do you know what? Rarely, Adam. I'm kind of speechless here. I'm going to have to hand over to John because I have no idea. How can anyone predict this picture? I have absolutely no idea.
Well, I think it's down to the Odegaard missing. It shows a big hole in their squad depth. But I don't think he can play the kid because I think it's too sink or swim. If you put him in there and you have a situation where City go 2-0 up and he's lost the ball in transition and you have to half-time pull him off the pitch and then it's like, how does he bounce back from that? You almost then you go to the more solidified midfield, and then it's just sitting in a 2-0 loss. So he has to. It's one of the biggest games of Arteta's career, if not the biggest. He's got to really make a big decision, and it's got to work.
Okay, predictions.
4-0 City.
Jesus.
Really,
Not that. Okay, that's
City on a whole
whatever
different
it
level.
is.
Ross.
It's
Have you
not
seen City this season? I'm not even,
Arsenal's bench did look a little bit.
City's level this
weekend.
season is
Defence
Are they going to
superb.
play two up front? Is Arteta going to play two up front again? Like two, there are. When they're in possession, they're two up front. When they're out of possession, they're two midfielders.
Yeah, out of possession, you'll have maybe 1 or 0 up front.
it's going to be
Havertz drops deep. Maybe they go Havertz,
But then
because Jesus was on the bench on the weekend. Maybe you got Havertz in the
But
midfield.
Havertz just can't play midfield.
It never works, does it? I hate
Just
when they
can't
do.
play. He's really works for Arsenal in that false nine. He really doesn't work for
I think
Arsenal.
we all know the answer, lads. He's not going to be expansive. He's not going to trust his side on the ball. So he's going to play all the defensive midfielders he can. Partey, Jorginho, and Declan Rice.
Is it
hits
just
on the
important
counter.
they-
That's his only that's the only gamble he has.
But
Arteta.
the problem with that theory is there is nobody to hit them on the counter. Like
Saka.
Havertz and see what
Saka.
Brentford did and
but
Ipswich did.
someone
And
what I mean is there isn't the Odegaard to play the incisive pass.
Well, it's going to have to be Saka dropping deep and getting the ball
Could
deeper.
Sterling play central?
That's a shout if you put Havertz deeper.
Yeah.
But he's played what? How long did he come on for in the last game?
No, not
See,
long.
it depends how long he plays. Obviously, as we speak. 'Cause they
Sterling
play
against
Thursday
Man
night.
City, though. Sterling for us against Man City was brilliant.
He was.
He was brilliant for us
The
against
more
them.
we
Point to
debate
prove.
it, though, the more we debate it, he's got to just play for a draw. I think missing Odegaard
Because
in his head, he's
leaving
thinking, I would
the
take
Etihad with
1-1
the
now.
difference at 2 points is so much.
Five.
Five is
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah,
already. We're 5 games in and it's
100%.
5 point
and
difference.
missing Odegaard, and
They'll get smashed, lads. I'm not even just saying it's 1-0 or not. They'll get
I
smashed.
think 1-0.
On my life, they'll get smashed.
I think City win 2-1.
Feel
I think
it big.
1-1.
Big.
Oh,
I
gonna
just ain't got a clue. I honestly haven't got a clue.
I think with the midfield that we've spoken about, if it's possibly Rice, Partey, and I've forgotten Jorginho, I don't see how they score. I don't see how they connect the defense into the attack. So,
but they've
with
scored a lot of goals from set pieces.
Yeah, that's true. That's also
Yeah.
true. But then again, with Arsenal's defence and how good they've been, I don't think Man City would smash them.
And their away record in terms of conceding goals. They don't concede goals.
Is that going to be the
But then
tactic?
they don't come up against Haaland
The more
week.
we've spoken about this, Buvey's theory at the beginning felt like it was a genuine possibility. You know, go and play and attack and try and take the game to Man City. And now it's just not happening, is it? It's going to be deep. They're going to go there for a point, and they're going to hope that Nico Jova finds a way.
You know,
like
if Arteta does that as well. Boovy's the first one to go, this guy is stupid, bro.
Yeah.
That's what you want. You want them like, you think because Ramsdale's dad watched you. He called you a
What's
dickhead.
Ramsdale got to do with
No,
it? He's at
I'm
Southampton,
getting to my
bottom of the
point.
league.
I'm getting to my point. You think Arteta's watching you as well. And if you get into his head, he'll come to the Etihad and just attack.
But everyone
It's
knows
stupid,
the best
man.
way to
You'd call him
get-
stupid
The best
if
way
he
to
did
get a City is hit it round the corner, is in between the fullbacks and centre backs, and have a go early, get an early goal and sit on it. That's the best way sides of beating City. If you sit there being negative and defensive, it was lucky it was only 0-0 in the other game. Honestly, lads, we're going to smash these lot on my life.
Clip that.